when we get our own setup, I would love for it to be a situation where we can pretty much look at each other comfortably, and like a table or something. Like, I want to be able to sit there and be able to eat and drink without like
the mic being right in your face.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the mics like hanging themselves. Okay, let me
let's reword it.
I like the idea of the mics like sitting by themselves, so we don't have to hold them, but if we wanted to, we could.
Yeah. So like, even like our mics, they do have like little stands. I mean, we never really use them, but yeah, if it could be something like that.
$5 sushi Wednesdays at Kroger right now.
Yeah, Gia stopped at Kroger and got us some fun drinks and got us some sushi. My fun drink of the day is a raspberry rose poppy. Mine
is a strawberry vanilla olipop. It's pretty good.
Pretty tasty.
What do probiotic, is it pre or pro?
Poppy is prebiotic and olipop is also prebiotics.
So what does that mean?
Prebiotics are like bacteria that is good for your tummy. And I believe probiotics are good for like more of your urinary system. But I would need to educate myself a little bit further than that. But that's my very like base understanding of it. And it could be wrong. Again, don't come here for the facts.
So, if prebiotics are good for your tummy, essentially, what is kombucha? The same thing?
Yeah. It also has like bacteria in it that's good for your tummy. I don't know what exactly the difference is that makes it like a pre versus probiotic.
I fuck with sushi so bad.
Yeah, you really ate that very fast.
I wasn't even hungry for real.
Did you
eat
dinner? Or was this dinner? Oh.
I had a chicken wrap at Westlake.
Nice.
With some pineapple.
Nice. Big pineapple girl? Me too. I love pineapple.
Any fruit, like any actual fresh fruit that's not canned, is a delicacy at Westlake. Like, you'll never see strawberries. You'll never see blueberries. Never. I've never seen raspberries in Westlake. But we've got the little diced up fucking pineapple in cans.
That's so depressing.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, definitely grateful, but it's also like you pay so much to go to school. Or like, not necessarily you, right? Like scholarships, RA, etc. But all of that is going towards tuition and living. And you pay so much for that. But
somebody, you won't believe this. Do you know what Yik Yak is?
Yes, like you can like talk about like your school, like updates about your school.
Yeah, it's anonymous though, unless you don't want to be anonymous. So it's like Twitter essentially. But you can choose to like pick a username or keep yourself anonymous the whole time. Somebody took videos of the calf after they like, in quotes, cleaned up for the night. And it's gross. And they exposed the calf. And it's just like, it's obviously one of the workers because they're back in the kitchen. So somebody's like risking their whole job right now.
That's crazy. But I feel like they're going to be able to find out who recorded it. They had to be the only one there though, closing that night, right? Because they were very obviously taking videos. Yeah. Gia just showed me the videos of
would you say they would get in trouble if somebody sent it to the health department? Because I won't lie, like it's
as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah, it's end of night, so it's not like they're making food without gloves on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Like the grill and stuff, that's just rust and nothing's going directly on, like, or not necessarily rust, it's just old. Like, perhaps they could use newer appliances, that's the word. But, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. Obviously, they should probably move some of those appliances and clean underneath, because God knows what all's going on under there. But not as bad as I was expecting. The pans would be my biggest concern, because that's like where the food's directly going on. Yeah,
but most of the time, like, I don't know. That
pans get a little crusty.
It's not even like they could look. That might just be storage. Like, when's the last time they used those? You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, that is foul. I hope whoever exposes them doesn't lose their job.
I know.
Isn't that like whistleblowing? And aren't they protected? Or whistleblowers protected?
I don't know.
Their jobs?
It probably depends on the company and the state. But and like the investigators, I guess. It's probably a very fluid situation. But I don't know the rules.
Whistleblowers are literally just snitches. Like, there's just like laws put in place to protect people who snitch.
We should really have Zoe on and just like get into the law.
She's a lawyer?
Yeah.
Certified?
Yeah, she works. Yeah. She works as a lawyer.
What
Past her bar. I don't know the terminology. That's so bad.
It's okay.
You know when people are like, I literally don't know what my best friends do. I mean, like, I do, but like,
that was me with my dad for so long.
Same. Yeah. I told everybody your dad was a mechanic. I didn't know he worked at sales.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was telling people. I was like, he's a mechanic, blah, blah, blah. And I asked him one time, I was like, Dad, what do you do? Like, I just tell people you're a mechanic. He's like, I used to be a mechanic, but now I'm more of like a manager / mechanic.
Like, I feel like he's always like, once a mechanic, always a mechanic in your soul. But
I asked him, go ahead.
I just feel like most mechanics actually enjoy being a mechanic,
and that's what I said. I asked him, like, we were talking about it one time, because where he wasn't like a machine mechanic. Well, I guess technically he was a machine mechanic. He was working on cars. I was like, why don't you still do that? He's like, because that's something I enjoy to do with my free time, not something I want to do every single day and like force myself to do it.
Yeah. It is funny though, because he does it every single day.
I think that's like at your own type of will.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing with like creativity.
Yeah, and he's working on like a car that he is excited about that's his.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes he goes and plays, well, he calls it tickle ball, but there is a day in there where he does that instead of working in the garage.
I was at school the other day. We talked about this on the last podcast. I was at school the other day, and one of my professors, like, it wasn't my professor, but it was one of the professors of the school, was like, Gia, how's your dad? I don't know this lady's name. I've seen her around 100 times. I was like, he's good. Yeah, he's doing well. She's like, I play pickleball with him sometimes. Who are you?
That's awesome. The communities and the people pickleball has brought together is honestly hilarious.
Brian gave his presentation today at Westlib had a young executives summit for just like, Sam, you know what's going on, but just for you guys. Brian gave his presentation today and put a picture up there of him and his coworkers playing pickleball.
Really?
You were up there too.
Was I?
Yeah, he was like, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for these people, and it was a couple pictures of Westlib people, some professors, and he was like, and I definitely wouldn't be here if it weren't for her. This is the girl I dated for however many years in college, and blah blah blah. And he's like, this is my wife, Sammy.
Aw, that's sweet. What picture to use?
I think it was his graduation one.
Oh,
were you there for graduation?
For his
undergrad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not for
MBA.
No, I don't even know. Well, yeah, he had a graduation ceremony for that.
For his
but
master's.
I was in PA school. I was deep in it.
I connected with the director of franchising of GNC today, and I introduced her for her speech at the summit because I was a co-host for it. And while introducing her, I was like, hey, or actually I she gave her speech and then I thanked her for whatever. So I was like, thank you, Persephone. I've been trying to get on Alani's PR list for the last 3 years, so let's talk after this. So she giggled. She's like, I got you, girl.
That's awesome.
I texted her, so I hope she texts me back.
Yeah. And hopefully she'll come on.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Let's clip it in there at her.
Yeah. Yeah, we would love to have you. Persephone?
Mm-hmm.
I've never met somebody with that name before.
It's awesome. Like, wow,
yeah.
She looks real pretty, too.
And I bet you're super smart and super intelligent and...
Climbing the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
Shout out women. I
told her,
I was like, our podcast is all about women empowerment, and we think you'd be great for it.
Yeah. So come on.
We'll tag GNC, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love a good GNC run.
Persephone, we can't pay you. I'm sorry.
We had no money.
We can buy you a fun drink and maybe some sushi on a Wednesday.
Absolutely. We can definitely do that. It will be from Kroger.
Yeah. It's pretty good, though.
I hope that's not a deal breaker. Yeah, Kroger is, like, my favorite place to get sushi.
What the hell is this?
Wait, let me see. Oh, it looks like a shrimp tempura. Did you not get shrimp tempura?
I did.
Oh. Looks like the end of it.
I forgot to save you a piece, so this is all that's left.
That's okay. Eat it. Anything else exciting been happening since we last recorded other than presenting and schooling and doing?
No. What about you?
No, not really. Not particularly. I feel like I gotta work on my memory. I feel like I forget the day once it's already happened and it's in the past.
I also feel like that a lot.
Yeah. And I'm like, I gotta go to my Snapchat memories to like see what was going on. Like if they ever, except the thing is now, ever since we've been doing this, and I don't know if it's because like I spend a lot of my time like editing now or like posting for this stuff, but I have a lot less on my Snapchat than I used to, which is a problem because I need that to remember what's happened in my life. But like I feel like if they ever need my alibi, I'll be like, hey, wait a second, let me go to my Snapchat memories. It'll give me an idea of what's going on.
I stopped using Snapchat probably my freshman year of high school. Not high school, sorry. College. I don't know like what switch flipped in my brain that when I got up there I was like, I just don't want to send pictures. I just don't want to send people pictures of my face all the time to communicate. Just fucking text me or call me.
Oh, yeah. I don't really Snapchat people unless they like the only 3 people who really Snapchat me, it will be Brian, Ariel, and Shannon, and then like I'll Snapchat them back, but most of the time I message them back. I don't like send a picture, and then like random things, but other than that I just have a private story with like my closest guy and girlfriends, and so then like I'll just like post on that, like because I don't need everybody to be seeing what I'm up to on my Instagram story. It's just like for them. But that's really all I use Snapchat for. But yeah.
Hi everybody, anyways. Welcome back to the Cellar Podcast. We're your hosts,
Sam Marie
and Gia Angelina,
and this is episode
22.
Let's go to the YouTube.
What the boxing video was 21.
Okay, so then this is 21 because it goes with the boxing video.
Oh,
we're just late to record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is 21.
Yeah, episode 21.
If you guys haven't been on YouTube yet, go watch the boxing vlog. We're literally rocky.
Yeah, I literally worked on that video too. I was so working.
The sound, it looks great. I think it's probably the best vlog we've done yet. The music in the back, how did you do it?
So I just started getting annoyed because Adobe doesn't have like sound effects. They just have, sorry Adobe, I'm going to be like a little bit of a hater right now, but they just have like music, and I don't really care for like much of the music.
Like instrumental.
Yeah,
music.
There's like barely anything with any vocals, and if it is, it's just like it's not anything good. But so what I was doing is like recording sounds off of like whatever, like off my phone. Like I'd look up keyboard typing sound and then record it, and it used to sound good when I edited on my laptop, but when I do it here and record it off my phone, it's almost like the mic is too good, so it picks up every little like static, and like you can tell I recorded something off of something. It's like when you were like used to play music and recorded it on your like little Razor phone and you used it as your ringtone, like it would sound like that. So I just like looked up things that you can get sounds on. It's like $9.99 a month.
Oh.
I just paid for it because I was so pissed off. But now I can get all the sound effects now. I can look through all the music now, and it's not, and none of it's like copywritten. It's like approved music. I don't care. $9.99 a month. I don't pay for any like Netflix or anything. I pay for Spotify. I pay for our Canva.
Yeah.
And now I pay for that. That's fine with me.
Nice. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Good job.
Thanks.
Will you tell the Pine Cellar what like the idea for the episode is today? Because I haven't seen the movie that you were talking about.
It's just like a fun, I guess it's a chick flick, not really a rom-com, but like early 2000s movie, Confession. I mean, probably everybody knows the movie other than perhaps Gia hasn't seen it, but Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. So we're gonna call this Confessions of some 20-something drama queens. Not that we're necessarily like, I mean, I'd be dramatic from time to time.
I'm dramatic. We know.
Yeah, but just like Confessions, I have like some more serious ones. I have just like silly ones. I have a variety here. We'll just like roll with it, see where we end up.
Okay. Do you wanna,
but we're just gonna use this as our confessional. We're just gonna out ourselves.
Do you want to start? Because my first one is like corny.
Okay. So my first confessional, and it's like the most recent thing that I feel that I need to confess. And that is, listen, I'm a big reader. There is a genre of books that would be classified as dark romance. I'm not really a dark romance girly. I don't really read dark romance, but I fell down this rabbit hole of mafia romance novels. And it's like a guilty pleasure now. I will pick up one of those books, I'll read it in literally a day. I will sit down in one sitting and read it. I'm locked into this series. It's called like The Dark Verse, but it's just like
raunchy. Is it
no
raunchy?
Well, sure, there's like raunchy scenes, but there's like plot there. It's just like, why am I invested in these characters who like are murdering people? They're part of the mafia, but I'm like, oh, they're so in love, and like he's killing for her, but I'm like locked in. But I guess like mafia romance is like a whole world, and I'm kind of getting into that side of like bookstagram now that I've been reading it. But the last book in the series is coming out in like 2 weeks, so I'm very excited to read it. I don't know if that'll conclude my mafia romance journey, but yeah, it's become a guilty pleasure, and it's definitely embarrassing. Like, imagine I'm sitting there reading about like his girl just got kidnapped from the other mafia, and you know, I'm sitting there, and your dad, imagine he comes home and for some reason he's like, what are you reading?
Book about cars.
Oh man. But yeah, that's like my recent most embarrassing guilty pleasure. I gotta confess it.
Okay.
I had to let people know.
Okay, so that's good because mine's hilarious. My first confessional that I wrote down, the loudness of a toilet when you flush it after 1 a.m. scares me a little bit.
Is the any toilet, or are you just thinking
toilets.
about your toilet at
all
home?
Toilets.
Okay.
My toilet at home, I think Sammy said that, is because our toilet at home is broken, so when you flush it,
it screams.
It goes
and it's almost as if every flush that it takes, it gets like a couple seconds longer.
I think so too.
And there's gonna be a day where that toilet, because your dad's not changing it.
It's not being fixed. It's been like this for almost a year.
Because I mean, the toilet works though. Like, I get why one would not, because I probably wouldn't.
You would.
I don't.
Sammy, I would. Like, I would figure if it was. It is my house, but like if it was my toilet, you know what I mean? And I don't know, bro.
I don't know because it works. Honestly, it functions better than the toilet downstairs.
Facts. Because the toilet downstairs, you have to hold down to flush.
You have to plunge it like every 5th flush. It doesn't matter if you pooped or not.
Oh my gosh, that toilet downstairs. Trace would clog that toilet.
It has not been the same since.
Trace was shoving like corn on the cob down that toilet. Like there's no way that it just would function the way it does. I would come home after like a long day of high school and like I'd go into the bathroom and the toilet seat's down and the entire the lid is closed. I'm like, oh, fuck.
What did he do this time?
I'll open it up and it just reeks.
Oh no!
I'm like, bro, I can't even flush it. It's filled to the top. Like, I just can't go upstairs. Oh my god.
Trace, get it together.
My mom used to be really nervous, like, in the mornings. We used to be late to school all the time because Trace would go get in the shower in the morning. He would purposely, like, wait to shower in the morning, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He takes a long shower. I don't know if he was like that when he was younger, but anytime he's back, like, I know if he's going in the shower, you won't see him for 45 minutes.
And it's been like that forever because he would fall asleep in there in the morning.
That's so concerning.
Yeah. So we would always be late.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the loudness of a toilet anytime after 1 a.m, it scares me. It gets just too loud.
Yeah, when I'm downstairs, honestly, like if I've just peed, and like in the downstairs of their house right now is just Brian and I. So if I've peed and it's like 2 a.m, like I'm not flushing the toilet.
Good,
I don't need to
wake said it.
Up any of the ghosts.
However, it's not acceptable for me to do that in the community style bathrooms.
No.
I still do it though.
It's okay if you're like super hydrated, but most of the time, like, well, no, actually, I would say most of the time a middle of the night pee for me is like a really hydrated pee.
Really?
Because it's
actually, I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning and I was really awake and I went pee and it was pretty clear.
Yeah, because I feel like you're only being woken up to pee when you really have to go really bad, and the only time I really have to go really bad in the middle of the night is like if I was chugging water before bed.
That's exactly what it was. Woke back up at 8, had to pee again, and it was freaking yellow.
Yeah, that pee, the first pee of like the real morning time, that one's not well. Oh man, that's hilarious. So sometimes it really gives me a lot of stress and almost guilt when I don't die or ride hard for something that I've almost made my personality, like where I'm just not into it anymore. Like it happened when I was younger. Like everybody labeled Sammy as Reese's and root beer. Like Reese's and root beer was my personality. That's it. Nobody thought of anything else. And when they saw me, and so anytime I went anywhere, if anybody was gonna perhaps get me something, Reese's and root beer, and ribs. That was my whole personality as a kid. But then I went through this phase where I was like, I can't eat any more Reese's. Like I do like them now, but like I can't be eating them the way I was eating them. And like there's a part of me, like when somebody's like, oh Sammy, like it's like a family member, I haven't seen them in a while, they're like, oh Sammy, we love you, miss you, whatever, I haven't seen you in forever, we stocked up on root beer before you got here, we stocked up on Reese's. And I'm like, okay, like I might just want like what? I might want a Coke this time. Is that okay if I just want a Coke?
Sammy feels bad about it.
I mean, granted, I still do love, I mean, I like both of those things, but it's not my whole personality anymore.
We just had RA room checks yesterday, which is just, as an RA, we have to go to door and make sure that everybody's still living in their room and they're living they're living in a livable environment and everything's just okay and moving smoothly. And
that they don't have no alcohol or drugs.
Facts. And then there's that part of it. But during room checks, we walked into this girl's room. But before we walked into it, she has this little basket hanging on the outside of her door with candy in it. She's that type of girl.
Oh, that's cute.
Right? So I took a piece of candy. It was a cowtail. And we walk into the room, and I'm looking around. I open up my cowtail, and I see her trash can. And I open up her trash can.
Oh, no.
I open up her trash can, and it's a brand new bag. And I'm only saying this because I feel guilty about it. I would never tell her. I threw my candy wrapper in her brand new trash bag and my old gum.
Oh, no.
And my co-RA was like, she's not going to know. And I look down, it's a brand new trash bag. She's going to know.
She's going to know you were in there.
Yeah, she's going to know I was just going through her stuff.
Yeah, but it's your job, you know?
That's just so, like, it's not inconvenient. That's not the word. It's almost like, really? You know what I mean? Like, I spit my gum out in a candy wrapper, and she just changed the trash bag.
Yeah, the gum, the candy wrapper, you know, like, she had it out, like, she's expecting people to take it. She's probably expecting a dorm check. But the gum, your chewed up gum, like, especially, you know, when you spit out gum and sometimes it sticks way too high.
That's exactly what happened. That's where, like, maybe it's an issue. Even, like, there's no weight to them, right? So they're just sitting right on top. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst. That's so funny. Oh, one time in high school, listen, my sister, she always got, like, you know, new clothes and stuff, and I got a lot of hand-me-downs from cousins and stuff, so she always had, like, you know, some nice shit in her closet.
Is Shannon older than you?
No, she's younger.
Oh, they just was fucking with Shannon.
Yeah, big time. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, she's, like, spoiled, like, the baby is spoiled, and I was, you know, the middle child. One time I borrowed, I was going to put them back. I didn't steal them, but I didn't ask for them. But I took her sweatpants, and they were gray sweatpants, but they had, like, a little Central logo on it. I wore them to one of Brian's basketball games, and, like, we took a picture, and I wasn't thinking about it. And then I got home, and she's, like, waiting at home with her arms crossed, and she's like, those are my effing sweatpants, and blah blah blah. And she's, like, freaking out. I'm like, they're not your sweatpants. You know, mind you, if I would have been approached calmly, I'd probably be like, yeah, I took them. But it was like, there was, like, resistance off the bat. And so I was like, no, you know what, I didn't take them. These are not your sweatpants. I went upstairs, changed into gray sweatpants that were my sweatpants. Yeah. Walk back down, and I'm, like, pretending like it absolutely gaslit her.
You're foul.
And to be like, these are my sweatpants. I put her sweatpants back.
Yeah.
That way when she went back up, because we shared a room, that way when she went back up, she'd be like, they are up here. So that way she would feel bad for yelling at me.
Her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was never much of, like, an immediate retaliation. I was always more like, think about it. What can I do about it? I was always thinking.
Oh, I've taken my siblings' clothes so many times that even when I don't have their shit on, they look at me like, that's my hoodie. This is not your motherfucking hoodie. Like, I'm tired. Bro, I've gotten to the point where I'll tell you if this is your hoodie. Like, yeah, I went to your room and I raided your closet. I've had this hoodie for 6 months and you haven't noticed it was gone. Clearly you don't want it that bad. But this is not your hoodie. Like, I promise.
The only thing, though, that's the worst, when somebody does take something and they're like, you didn't want it. I'm like, how did you know I didn't want it? I've been looking for that shit for months. I just didn't know to ask your closet where it was.
I took Brian's number 3 from Kids Next Door hoodie one time.
I know he was sick.
Oh, but, like, I don't think you guys were home yet. I think, like, I found it in his room when you guys were still living in North Carolina.
Well, because the thing was he would go back a lot and he would leave with stuff and he would always pack everything in a laundry basket. He'd do laundry while he was there. He'd leave shit there. And then he'd be like, he'd come back home and say, Sammy, do you know where, you know, my codename 3 next door, whatever, you know where that hoodie is? I'm like, I don't know. You just went to Wheeling. You probably left it there. But
Right. Little did he know he did leave it there, and it's now in my possession. He has it back, though. Like, I had it for probably, like, 2 months, and then, unfortunately, he took it back. I like, made a mistake and left it home when I went back up to school one time, and I saw him wearing it, like, the next 2 days after that. I was like, bro, where'd you get that hoodie? He's like, this is my hoodie, Gia. I found it in your room, and I know what you did.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think he ordered that hoodie off of something.
Oh, it's custom made. Yeah, it's a custom hoodie.
Yeah, and, like, Brian doesn't do that. Like, Brian wears things that don't make any sense. He wears his mom's clothes. He wears your clothes. Like the man don't care what he looks like out and about, unless it's like business or something. But he like bought that hoodie like intentionally. So like I know he was so salty.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely was. My next one is when I was a little kid, I was probably like 10, maybe 11 years old. I begged my grandma for a Monster High toy. It was like this it was shaped like the Monster High skull, and like you could open it up and it came with like coloring stuff, and you could color all the little dolls, and I begged her for it, and she made me swear in the store that I was going to play with it. She was like, Gia, you have so many things. Like, I just bought you something in the last 6 stores. Like, I'm not going to get you this. Or you promise you're going to play with it? Grandma, I swear. I swear. Grandma, I promise. No. I'm taking it home right now and I'm going to go play with it. Sammy, I have, like, a core memory of me throwing it away at, like, 16 years old. It was just sitting in my room.
Oh, no. Gia.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Grandma would be so mad.
Grandma D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Poor Grandma D. She was like, you're gonna use it?
Gia, do you really need that? Yes, I need this, Grandma.
I literally won't be able to go to school and face everybody. Yeah. I need it.
It's Monster High coloring book.
Oh, man. Oh, ever since I turned 26, I have one singular chin hair that grows that I have to pluck.
Wow.
Just one?
My mom gets those, and I feel like they're coming.
Yeah, they're coming.
Oh, wow.
They're coming.
I'm getting scared.
I was 26 though. What, you have time.
Okay.
I also don't know if it's like, I don't know what age is normal to start getting chin hair. It could be young. I had like premature, like I've had gray hair since like 19. So it definitely could be like premature.
I can't wait to see you when you're like 80 with just silver hair.
Yeah.
Silver curly hair. Like, I can't wait to see it.
I can wait.
Yeah, I think it would be beautiful.
I can wait.
Number 4 on my confessions is...
Thanks. Sorry.
Number 4 on my confessions is my friends and I freestyle with our free time. But it's just me, Ronan, and Kyla. That's the only friends that freestyle. I'm not freestyling with nobody else.
Do you guys like play a beat?
Yeah, sometimes.
Brian and his friends used to do that.
Really?
I would pay a lot of money to say you guys are probably, like, you and your friends have got to be better. But they used to get in the car. What?
I beatbox for my friends. So, like, what happens is there's 3 of us. So somebody can beatbox, somebody will freestyle, and then somebody get the ad-libs.
That's awesome.
We started off talking about GC on the beat. And then they start freestyling.
Oh, man. No, that's great. Yeah, they would, like, turn it on, like, the beat on in the car. And it'd be, like, if we were, like, driving to a concert or, like, driving to a game or something, like something that was like going to be an hour or something, and that's what they would spend the hour doing is freestyling. So we would just be in the car listening just to like a beat that just was like steady the whole time that they could freestyle to. But that's fun though.
Yeah,
keeps the mind alive.
Yeah Sometimes like there's some wild shit though, like you could jump in and out of it, and sometimes it just gets wild. Like, what?
You guys should record one.
Yeah. We literally have a whole mic set up. Like, we might as well just get in the studio.
For real. No, you guys should come in here.
Just get in the studio.
No, it would probably be more fun to use, like, the handheld mics.
Yeah, but these headphones will be good for it.
Yeah. I think you could take these off probably and like be like holding them. That's so funny. On the same note, I'm a big like singing in the car on road trips, and sometimes I'll be singing in the car. I'm like, ooh, did I just hit that? Yeah. But I feel like everybody does that when they're like in the car and they're like, maybe I could be a pop star.
I can't. I know I can't.
You don't think?
No, I'd be trying to hit the high notes and I don't. It's not even close. Like, I literally was on the way here and coming down the hill. I just like picture you like driving in your car and you're like,
let me give it one more try. Like, I gotta try one more time to see if I could be a singer. And you're like going to hit the note. You're like, fuck.
It is exactly
It's not me.
It's me. Like, it's me. I'm not rewinding the song. Sometimes I will if I can hit it. If I can hit the note, I'm gonna rewind the song. But if I can't,
I'm saying.
If I can't, I'm like, oh shit, let me do it again.
That's hilarious. Rewinding the song is crazy. But I do it too. That's so funny.
If I can't hit the note though, I keep trying to hit the note, but like I let the song play. You know what I mean? Like, because they're gonna hit that again. It's never like Ariana Grande's like whistle note that I'm trying to hit. It's
like I'm not going for that. Like, no. I know I'm not that girl. But
I have a pretty like deep voice for a female, I would say. So like I'd be in the car trying to hit like just anything with a high note.
Yeah.
But then I like try to hit the low notes. I'm like, I can't hit either of them.
I ain't got that either.
Yeah, what's happening right now?
What is this? That's so funny. Kind of on the same subject, just while we're there. One time in middle school, like when I first got to St. Mike's in music class, you all had to like. We had this one like really avid music teacher who really wanted us like to all be like locked into choir and whatever. And so like you went into music class and she had
young?
Yes, I think her last name was Payne.
We might have had the same.
She came from a different school, or she might have left after our grade or something. I guess that would make more sense, is that she would have left and gone to where you were, because you would have been some years after. But yeah, I think her last name was Payne. I don't know if that was her married name or if that was just her.
I don't remember our teacher's name,
but she made there's like whatever the three things, like I don't know, like baritone, something, alto,
something like that.
Yeah, and
Sopranos, just because I know the show.
Yeah, she was breaking us up into like the three of them, like whichever was the lowest, medium, and highest. And I remember like me, like my little 5th grade self, I thought I had like a really deep voice. So like when she's like say like ah or whatever, I'm like ah, like I'm trying to go higher because I'm like I'm new to the school and I'm like if I'm higher, like that's like more girly, like more feminine. And so like I really tried to be like high, and she was like, she put me in the medium one. I was like bitch.
She did on purpose.
She did.
I fucking hate her.
Yeah.
On the topic of choir, bro, I used to be so self-conscious about singing, just because I think
like why was she making us go like in front of everybody, like
everybody.
I'm literally, how old are you in 5th grade? I was like, I'm like 9 or 10 years old. Don't make me cry in front of everybody. I just got here.
We were in like 7th or 8th grade though when this story happened.
I feel like you're more embarrassed about things in 7th and 8th grade though than you are in 5th and 6th grade.
I was not worried about anything I was doing. I was still chunky in 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah.
Like I didn't hit puberty until like 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah.
But we're in the church and we're in choir practice because we had to go like once a week or something like that. I fucking hated choir. I hated it because it was just like I don't want to go and sing a fucking solo in front and sing off the sheet music in front of my entire classmates. Like these boys.
Wait, but if they had you doing solos, your teacher probably thought you were good.
No.
Oh, okay.
Everybody. She would go down the line and be like, okay, next.
Oh, see,
okay,
our teacher was not like that. You had to be good to get a solo.
Or she would group us into like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? So you would hear everybody.
Okay.
But she was like,
you couldn't like blend into the background. You couldn't like pretend to be mouthing it. Yeah.
She called me out. She's like, Gia, something. I like, to piss her off. She's like, you can't yell and sing at the same time, because she kept telling us to sing louder. So I'm like yelling at this point.
You're like,
because like I'm self-conscious. I'm like, I can't sing. I can't hit these notes, whatever. So I'm just gonna yell. She's like, you can't yell and sing at the same time. I was like, who can't? Looked at her, started singing the song from Elf, talking about I'm singing, I'm in a store and I'm singing. She was like, Gia, see me after class. I had to stay after Sammy. She got mad.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think making kids participate in something they simply do not want, like choir is not essential to anything. Like it isn't.
No,
it's not.
We
make them take like a public speaking course instead. That would be more useful.
We learned the songs we would sing in church and choir. That was what our choir class was, just so we would sing as 8th graders, because they at OLP they were all very like, you are the leaders of the school, because the school would only go up to 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're the leaders of the school. We need to be seeing and hearing every single one of you.
Dude, that was messed up. They really just be making us sing.
Yeah.
That's that Catholic school education.
Man.
Because I remember too, like, in high school, like, having to go to church and, like, your teacher would be looking at you, like, and they'd be like, you singing? Are you singing? Are you singing the whatever they are?
Was
hymns?
Central's, yeah. Was Central's cathedral as hot as it was when I went there? Were people passing out in school when you went to school there?
My memory is a little foggy, but I don't think so. I don't remember it being like that.
I don't know if people were faking it just so they didn't have to sit through church.
Yeah.
I thought about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just watched 2 kids collapse. Like, are they doing that shit on purpose?
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't come back. They get to go home.
No, kids pretending to pass out is hilarious. And there are so many people like that I know who have done that.
Yeah.
Like, I know you did it. One time my friend passed out at school and they went and got me. Like, I'm like, whatever, junior, senior, whatever. And they come and get me to be there. What the fuck am I gonna do? What the fuck am I gonna do?
She up?
Call
Was she up
the ambulance? What? I'm 17. I'm 16. I'm 17 years old. What am I gonna do? You are 40, 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Call an ambulance.
Yeah.
But they would come and get me. But there's this one time, and so I'm like sitting there like, wake up. And you know what's funny about looking back on that one time is when that did happen, like, you, like, thinking about it now, I can picture her face, and you could tell, like, her eyes were almost like a bit forcibly like forced shut, and I remember like a tear coming out of her eye. And I'm like, how is she crying if she's passed out? But really, she's probably just holding in her laugh.
Sammy's thinking to herself, like, is nobody else seeing through this bullshit?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just crazy the way like adults wanted kids to handle the situation. I'm like, you didn't need me there.
Yeah.
What was I gonna do?
Yeah. That reminds me of this time. This like came deep out the vault. We were at OLP, and I remember Brian was in like 8th grade at the time. This was when me, Brian, and Trace were all like, this is
that is crazy to imagine.
This was the last time we were all in school together at the same time. It was awesome. I loved it. Brian was in 8th grade. Trace was probably in like 5th, and that means I probably was in like 2nd or something like that. And I get pulled out of class. They're like, hey, Gia, can you come outside real quick? I'm like, yeah, come outside. Brian.
Don't tell me they pulled you out for somebody passing out in 2nd grade.
No, bro, it was scary as fuck. I get out
because
there.
they shouldn't be doing that. I don't understand.
I get out there, and Brian's standing out there. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't see you on a day-to-day basis. I see you when we get on the bus to go home. What are you doing up here?
Yeah.
You don't even you don't have classes on this level of the school. What are you doing up here? They're like, hey, they made Brian tell me. I don't know if Brian like volunteered to tell me or what. They're like, Brian was like, hey, mom just got in a car wreck, but she's okay. What? I started crying so quick. I was like, what?
Aww.
Because like I can't get on nobody. Like my mom's not on the phone. Brian, I don't know if they
but
made Brian tell me or if like,
she's
he
okay
chose.
though, like, and everything's okay. Wait till the school day is over.
They pulled me out. Brian pulled me out of my 2nd grade class. It wasn't Brian. It was a teacher, but
and that way you can like go and know she's okay. Like,
yeah, because if you're telling me in the middle of the school day, what?
Yeah,
that's
like,
where anxiety starts. Like
exactly. Yeah, just I don't understand that concept.
The student's sibling,
and that's also crazy too. Yeah, it's so bizarre. I don't know. But anytime like something happened like with Shannon passing out, they always come get me. I'm like, dog, I still don't know what to do. I have no call the ambulance. I don't know. Like and one time like I got in a car accident. It was like decently bad, but I was like blessed and okay. And my dad worked.
Rolled your car.
Yeah.
Sammy rolled her car. Talking about it was decently bad. It was bad.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
don't know. I was fine. I mean, I had like obviously a concussion and like my body was like it hurt, but nothing was broken. I was okay. But when that happened, my dad worked in the coal mine, and to come out of the coal mine is like a deal.
Really?
Like if you're late to work, because they all go down on this elevator, so you have to be on time for work so you can all go down at the same time. There's no like getting there 5 minutes late. If you're late, you miss your shift because they're not running the elevator again. So like it's a big deal. And then once you're down there, like how far in you are, where you're located, like it's not like an easy task. And then like obviously you don't have phones that are working down there. Everything's like walkie-talkie, whatever. But I got in that car accident, and then for some reason it was I can't remember, because I know, shout out Shannon, nobody fucking answered me when I got in this car accident. I'm like getting in the ambulance. I'm like, guys, I need help. Nobody answers me. You know who did answer me was little Shannon at 14 or 13 years old, and she got everybody's attention. But I don't know if she was trying to tell, like, they somehow got a hold of my dad in the coal mine, and I don't know if she was trying to tell, and then my brother like took the phone from her and something, but he's like, I don't know what happened, she's in a car accident, we don't know how bad it is, blah blah blah. And they know.
And now your dad's freaking the
and he has to he has to drive whatever machine and then get on that elevator, go up, and then come down, and like just put him through this whole panic for nothing. Like, even if I was dead, you don't tell him I'm dead while he's down there.
Yeah.
Like, you just say something happened, we need you to come to the hospital. But I don't know.
That would also, there's no, like, I don't think there's a good way to have a conversation like that, because any way you say it is like, maybe just, hey, Sammy's okay, she got in a wreck, just, you know, you just gotta come.
We would just like you to be here.
Yeah, we'd like you to be here to support her.
That was also the worst Brian's ever smelled before.
We've talked about that on the podcast before.
Okay, what's your next confession? We got sidetracked.
Yeah, real bad.
I think it was you next.
I think. This one's kind of foul.
Go for it.
When I was in like not 8th grade, but like early, probably like a freshman in high school, I used to make my best friend change before she could sleep in my bed.
From like her outdoor clothes?
Yeah.
Oh, I support you, and I'm glad you knew it from a young age. Do not sit on my bed and you're out. If you came from, I don't care if it's sweatpants and like it's sleepable clothes, do not come into my home and lay in my bed in your outside clothes. That's a hard line for me. That's a boundary.
Yeah. And we would be like, I would be with her the entire day. I know everything we just did. We were outside playing fucking basketball, walking around,
putting rocks in your purse,
literally doing who knows what, and like sitting on the ground and shit, and you want to come and get under my fresh sheets and my big comforter, and with your there's probably dirt on your pants right now. Like, I know your feet smell like Fritos. Like, just, I can give you a brand new set of clothes. You know what I mean? Like, these are fresh out the dryer. Here, just go get in the shower, come back. I'll give you these fresh clothes. We can go to sleep.
Yeah. You know? No, I support that. How old were you?
I was probably like 14.
It's interesting 15. That you were able to set that boundary at 14.
It's
but I love that for you.
Another one of my confessionals was I struggle with personal boundaries. So,
but you knew that one.
Yeah, I knew that one. Today, like, not too many. I don't have a whole lot of people like in my room.
The only time I don't know how to like set that is like if it's my parents and then like they're like at my house or something, or like they were helping me move something or fix something, and then we finished it and then they sit on my bed and I'm like but I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to change the sheets once they've gone.
Yeah,
but it has nothing to do what I think of you as a person. It just has everything to do that like Brian's not allowed to do it, like I'm not allowed to do it. I just, granted, Q-Dog sleeps in the bed, but I mean, he gets bathed like every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, it would just like when I can't set a boundary like that, I feel it in my chest.
Yeah, and it's like gnawing, and I'm like looking at you like on the bed, like I don't hear anything you're saying. All I can see is that you're on my bed with your outside clothes.
Yeah, and you're trying to get tucked in.
Yeah.
No.
Ooh, yeah.
It's one thing, like, I've gotten pretty okay with you can lay on top of my bed. You know what I mean? I'm pretty okay with that now. But if you try to get in my bed, I need you to take everything off straight.
Honestly, just be naked. Do not put your outside clothes on.
Please, like.
That's funny. I think it is really suspicious if you don't use butt wipes. If I go to your house and you don't have butt wipes on the toilet, I know your butt is got dookie in it.
I agree.
You have residual dookie in there.
And I don't know, like, I don't know if this is like where does this come from? Because I know a lot of my black friends grew up like that. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking maybe it's a cultural thing. But obviously me and you grew up like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, if that's just, like, it makes sense or what. Like, why are these people not... What is causing you not to have butt wipes in your house?
Yeah, and I don't know where it comes from, too, like, speaking of, like, the cultural aspect as well, because the only reason I found out, like, remember when we were talking about, like, people not, like, washing up with a rag in the only reason I knew that that was any sort of debate was because I saw, like, a TikTok or a reel of somebody being like, please tell the white women, and, like, it was, like, a washcloth, and then I was like, oh, this is a cultural thing too. I don't know. I fucking use a washcloth because the only, like, this is what I told Brian, because sometimes Brian don't be using a washcloth, and I'm like, Brian, imagine trying to wash literally anything. Wash your car with your hands. Right. You're not getting anything off of it.
When I'm in the shower, even if I don't have, like, dirt or anything that I can see that's dirty on me, because sometimes you have, like, an outside day where it's like, oh, there's dirt on my legs because I was doing something, whatever. I imagine that there's dirt on my legs or on my arms that I'm trying to scrub off, you know? My friend, however, and this might be what they were referring to in the TikTok, my friend put me on to washcloths over loofahs. Yeah. And that might be it. But when I was a junior in high school, she was like, we grew up with washcloths because my mom taught us that loofahs carry bacteria, and if you don't switch them out every, like, 2 weeks, then it's just unhealthy.
Yeah. And, like, washcloths, you can just throw them in the washer. Yeah. But I don't use a washcloth more than once.
I don't either.
Okay. I don't know if that's wasteful or not, but, like, it's a washcloth is always going to fit in a laundry load. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm doing extra loads.
I've also learned, just getting older, that I use 2 washcloths when I get in the shower now.
Yeah, because there's certain areas that I'm not touching my feet and then wiping my butt. Yeah. You know, like,
Facts.
Or, like, if I have a pretty big one, like, there's a reserved area for certain things.
I need to actually go to Walmart and buy a couple. I don't know where, like, I'm running out of washcloths way more than I was in the past. I don't know where they've gone.
Somebody's napping them.
They might be leaving, like, they're probably left in the dryers at West Lib.
Yeah. But, yes, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but I always grew up, like, my dad's a firm believer in butt wipes. Like, he has butt wipes stacked in the house. My grandma
gave me a Ziploc bag of wet wipes the other day to keep in my purse. I used them one time, too. I was like, dang, thanks, Grandma. Now I keep them in my car.
That's awesome.
I guess, like, the last one, actually I have 2 more, but they're both, like, they're not that interesting. My first one is I don't know how to cook. It's a confession I feel real bad about. But I think I attribute that just to I haven't had the opportunity to, like, starve yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I've just always been very blessed somebody's cooking a meal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, too, like, I wouldn't say I was always, like, somebody was cooking a meal. Like, I was cooking a lot of meals young, but, like, you don't know how to cook a meal young. Like, it's spaghetti and spaghetti sauce. Yeah. That's the extent of it. Or mac and cheese. But even, like, growing older and stuff, it's also a thing of, like, having money to buy your own food, like, having your own kitchen to cook things in. Like, I didn't start, like, doing anything cooking wise until I moved to Savannah. And that was because I needed living loans. And so I just had, like, I was able to buy groceries, and I was able to, like, start playing with food and, like, cooking. And so, I mean, at PA school I was just turned 22. So yeah, I mean, it also depends, like, on your circumstances too, like, and, like, so Brian, for example, because while I was in PA school, that was, like, his part of his master's, and then his first year of work. And so, of course, we weren't buying a home in Savannah, so he stayed and worked in Wheeling and stayed with your parents. So he didn't really need to cook there. So he never really started cooking until we moved into the Greenville house. So he would have been 25 when he first started, like, I mean, and not that he's, like, you know, spectacular, but he's, like, getting good at stuff. But yeah, it just depends on, like, time and circumstances. 20 years old, like, literally I ate bagels and noodles.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And that's all I cooked. Well, and I think that's when I started making, that might have been or 19, started making like smoothie bowls, but that was it. I don't think that counts as cooking. Do you know what maladaptive daydreaming is?
What is that?
So it's basically when people will like make up whole scenarios in their head and like be like have like this really like it's like very vivid like you know like the smells of that daydream, you know, like the sights, like you know the people involved in it, like it's a very descriptive like watching a movie essentially, but it's not really good because normally it's like a tragedy, it's like a tragic situation, but it's something that I have been known to do, but I didn't know it was like, you just don't think about it, but like I'll have this whole thing in my head where I like see all of it, like if we're on a long drive and all of a sudden I've been looking out the window for 2 hours, like I'm probably maladaptive daydreaming, and I'm just like down this whole spiral of like, oh, so and so died, and like now this is what life looks like, and like the grieving process, and like this whole scenario, and then like you come to and you're like, holy shit, that's not real. Wow. That is not real.
See, I wouldn't ever, like, I'm trying to think myself, have I ever done that? When you got to the grieving process part, I was like, no. And that's when I knew I don't do that, because if I'm staring out the window, it's got to be the ADHD, because if I'm staring out the window, you got max 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Max 10 minutes, and the farthest I'm getting into that daydream is, like, somebody just died.
Yeah.
And, like, the ambulance is here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's probably about it.
It's not healthy. It's not, like, a good thing. Yeah. I don't think. But they don't really,
you're
like...
over there staring out the window, feeling the stages of grief.
Yeah. No, like, I could be crying.
On our way to Disney. Like,
it's actually crazy.
Oh, it's not good.
But, like, they don't know much about it, or, like, it's not even, like, in the DSM-5. It'll be in it at some point, I'm sure.
That gotta mean you're creative, though.
Yeah, right? That's why, like, some people imagine things differently. Like, some people can't, when they're reading a book, like, they don't see any of it. But I'm like, I could talk about a scene where Brian, and I'm like, I can watch it in my head. Like, if we're talking about a book that I've already read, like, but, and, like, some people say, like, they can't, like, imagine faces. Like, they'll imagine a full body, but not a face. I'm like, no, I can see it all. But yeah, so that's where my head's at. Do you have any more?
No, that's it.
This only came up recently because there was kind of a situation that brought it on. But like if you know me as a person, anyone out there, if you know me as a person and you would classify me as quiet, shy, or reserved, just means I'm uncomfy around you, I'm completely uncomfortable around you, or I'm uncomfortable around the people that are always with you when I'm with you. Because we were just with a friend of Brian's, and he, after like this day that like whatever, after seeing him, he told Brian, he was like, I always thought Sammy was a nice girl, but I've just like never heard her really talk like that before. But like the person that this guy is with and like the friends he surrounds himself with are like completely different than what they used to be. So it's just like, it's just a difference of seeing me with people that I'm comfortable with and people who I'm completely uncomfortable around.
My Kyla and Ronan, my two closest friends, we were just talking about that because we have like a at least one FaceTime call a week, if not, 3 times, 4 times, so we were just talking about how the people we're around, because we used to be with each other literally every day for the past like however many years, the people we're around don't like, we feel like we're faking who we are, like,
yeah,
because,
and I'm not somebody, it depends, but a lot of the times I'm not super good at faking. So like if I don't feel comfortable, like I'm really like, you'll probably hear me like speak one word, It
feels like a valve, like you can turn the valve to let as much out as you want.
Yeah.
Because when I'm with like my RA staff, or just anybody really at school, just kind of depends. Like I'm not holding a conversation with you. And it's just like the person I am to everybody else compared to the person I am to my family is so different.
Yeah, family and like closest friends and
like I have a whole podcast.
Yeah,
and I'm not having conversations with you people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like one time somebody said like they were this is not nice, but they were like, you have the driest personality, and I was like,
well, that's rude, and that's why I don't fucking talk to you, bitch.
Yeah, like exactly, like that's because I don't feel safe or comfortable around you.
She doesn't know that you like everything better when it's in the freezer.
She doesn't know.
And nobody with a dry person. Yeah. Bitch, you have a dry personality. Get the fuck out of my face.
It just simply is just that. Yeah. Well, Gia picked this week's Woman of the Week, but she's a busy gal. She is a busy gal.
I was making $8.75. So. Just making my minimum wage.
But so this week's Woman of the Week is Jane Austen. She lived from December 16th, 1775 to July 18th, 1817. And she is an English novelist and a social commentator. Her best-known work is Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, Persuasion. I have never read any of her books, but I mean, I'm a big romance girly. And so obviously I've seen Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice, and we love him and his hand gesture after they make contact for the first time. Obviously I've seen Persuasion too, but so big fan. I haven't read it though, but her work is known to vividly depict English middle-class life in the 19th century. During this time of that era, she was considered the quote novel of manners, which was essentially a work of fiction. It was a work of fiction about the social world with very finely detailed observation. So it really, like when you're reading a book, her descriptions, the scenes she puts you in, it should really feel like what it would have been like to be a woman in the 19th century in English middle class. And her stories often included strong women from different backgrounds, and they ended up finding true love at the end of the story. Yeah.
I was first introduced to Jane Austen in high school. Just we had to read like Pride and Prejudice, and
did you?
Yeah,
Pride and Prejudice, like a big one, isn't it?
It's very difficult to understand. Pride and Prejudice is the one of the sisters, isn't it?
I don't know. I just know she falls in love with Mr. Darcy. Yeah. There's like, and there's a story of the sisters, and like, the girl who ends up with Mr. Darcy, she would like go to the dances or whatever. I'm fully off of the movie though.
Yeah, we had to read
but she wasn't like interested in like a lot of the men, or
yes, but one of them was like I don't even remember it.
Yeah,
this is why I don't remember it, because it was one of those classes where it was actually a college class. I was getting college credit for it. That's probably why we were reading it. But it was so difficult to understand, just like the old English that she used. So
yeah,
like I wasn't reading that shit out of class, and we would come back in, and I wouldn't have read like the last 3 chapters, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I got a clue. Yeah, that reading's hard to read. Like I've tried to read, like I read Leo Tolstoy, I believe is his name. It has like a bunch of classics, and I read Anne Karenina, which is like a big one, but it's like it's less for fun, and it's more like work in my brain. But then like once you get into it and you're like starting to understand it, and you're not having to write school essays on it, then it becomes enjoyable. But it just takes some time to read stuff written like that. There's like some like classics that are a bit like more of like an easier transition into the classic realm. Like I would say Little Woman is. Like I read that in like 4th or 5th grade.
I haven't read it. I just want her to be Woman of the Week because though it was very difficult to read because it was from the 18th century.
Yeah.
It was very cool to read because Sammy mentioned how her books will literally put you into the setting of the 1700s, the early 1800s, and not only what it was a woman's point of view during that time period, but it was also like the setting, you know what I mean, like what the house was set up like, the maids, the whatever, like you would have a chaperone, like things like that.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to do that because not only was she a really cool writer, but it was also very difficult to be a female writer back then.
Yeah, and she was never married.
That's even better.
I don't think so,
because back then being a wife was like the biggest thing.
Yeah. But it sounded like she actually had she had chances at marriage, but never married. She was actually set to marry someone, I believe, and then she changed her mind like the day. I wonder
if her family had money or something, because if like,
yeah, I know her dad, it sounded like was just like very supportive as far as like her writing and her life. So he must have had money.
Yeah, had to.
Because there's no way she could just like be living like that.
What else was really cool about her?
She's like there was like 8 kids.
She had a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah.
8 kids was probably not even a lot back then.
Yeah.
I found something that said like she wasn't necessarily writing under a male's name, because back then female writers were just not taken seriously, so they would use pseudonyms. But she wasn't using a male's name. She was using by a lady. So she would be like the title of her book, and then where the author would be by a lady.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Sense and Sensibility by a lady.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. Pride and Prejudice by a lady.
Emma by a lady. That's awesome. Yeah. I almost like that better than like just like even having your own name.
Yeah. I think there was maybe a couple that she might have used a pseudonym for, but what most popped up the most on Google was just by a lady.
Yeah, it probably changed like as she was trying to get it published through different people. Like by a lady worked for that publisher, but like it wasn't gonna work, so she had to try to sell it as something else to the next person. Yeah,
she's real cool. So Pine Cellar Girls recognize you as Woman of the Week.
Hell yeah. And some quotes from her. She said, "It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. And there is no charm equal to the tenderness of the heart." And like I guess they said was like they were always like was she in love with somebody, or was she just like a romantic at heart? Yeah. Because she never. But I guess like marriage was never much of love like in those days.
No, marriage was always just.
She's just scrolling now.
No, I saw a TikTok the other day.
That's crazy.
I saw a TikTok the other day. I wouldn't even catch myself. Like I forgot where it was for a second. Saw a TikTok the other day of like when my man gets hit by a car, but like I'm supposed to call the ambulance, but out of habit I get on Instagram Reels, and then the camera's them like ha ha ha, and they flip it and it scans and they're dude on the ground.
Oh, no. And they're like, oh shit, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's literally me.
Have you ever had to call 911 before?
A couple times actually as an RA.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm very comfortable doing it. Probably wouldn't be comfortable. I would say I'm comfortable doing it.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, my name is Gia Campbell. I'm a whatever
girl.
Yeah, I'm just a girl. I'm here. Whenever, for anybody listening, whenever you have to call 911, you just state your name, where you are, give them literally all the facts that you can, and just be very descriptive about it. No, where are you? I don't know. Find a street sign, what building looks like, whatever. Anyways, thanks for listening to the Pine Cellar Podcast this week. We really enjoy you guys. Blessed to have you here. Thanks for listening. And to the guy that says our table wasn't organized, we appreciate you too.
Yeah. So the thing is, I cleaned it and then we got sushi and we were eating, and so it's like dirty this time too.
But we hear you and we hear your concerns,
and we'll do better. Maybe. Perhaps. But I think we're a little bit messy, and that's okay. So.
All right, everybody, have a good night. Unless you're listening to this, obviously, in the taking headphones off. Everybody just.
And if you like this episode, we could do it again, and we could do your guys' confessions if you guys wanted to, like, let us know those in the DMs. Okay, bye.
Did you see I tried to post it on our story?
I did. That's why I just thought to say that, because it would be cool to, like, do that.
I just wish like Brian or freaking Ronan or somebody would reply.
Yeah. Like, the Pine Room literally liked the story.
Yeah.
Just some haters for real. My
For real.
butt is numb and I'm sweaty.